sports, her life.
This is Her Why.
Here's your host, Lauren McLean.
We're so excited to have you here with us on Her Why, where we celebrate the women who make BYU sports great. Today's guest is Kim Santiago, former UVSC basketball player, former Provo City councilwoman, nurse, mother of four, and wife to current BYU athletic director Brian Santiago. Kim, thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you for having me.
That's
happy to be here.
That's quite the resume, but I want to know, how many gray hairs have you acquired since Brian got that job back in May?
Well, I'm hiding them, so I don't know.
Nothing a little bleach can't cover up?
No.
What's life looking like for you right now?
You know, it's been really busy, but fun. It feels very normal. He's doing a lot of the things he has always done. We're doing a lot more together, a lot more events together. And it's been very busy, but it's been really good. It's just a great time to be part of it. So.
And we were just chatting, and your baby is 19.
Yes.
Kind of tell us a little bit about your family and your four kids.
Okay. So our oldest son is McKay. He's 29. He has autism, and he lives in Spanish Fork in a mother-in-law apartment and works at Topgolf, just living his best life. He's
Gosh, that sounds amazing.
I know. He's done horse therapy, and now he's going to start doing scuba diving.
Wow.
So it's It's like a therapy for people with differing abilities. And so anyway, so that's fun. He's doing great. And then my next son has been living in New York. He and his wife, Colson and Hannah, is his wife. They live in New York, but they're moving back today.
Oh,
so yeah, he
that's
got
gotta
a
be so exciting
6-month
for you.
okay to work remotely. So he's
Wow.
going to be here for all the fun. We're super excited about that. And then we have another son, Jackson, who finished his mission a year ago, and he's now at BYU. He served in Melbourne, Australia, Chinese speaking. So that was really fun. Yeah, he and my daughter, and then my last one's my daughter, they both were in Chinese immersion. So they both speak Mandarin.
That's
and
incredible.
Then Colson speaks Russian and Ukrainian.
So they're not very smart at
So,
all.
well,
I mean,
those missions.
Goodness.
Those missions really, provide some great opportunities too. So
that's incredible.
they're fun. They're really fun.
Now that your kids are older, how do you feel like your role as their mom has shifted from when they were all living in your house?
It's been really fun, especially with my last, to have her call me and just for FaceTime. She's living in California right now. She's working there. And it's turned into a little more of a friend role, and just the relationship has changed a little bit, and I like it. I think it's fun. I'm not the one enforcing the rules anymore and seen as the one that's kind of, this is what you need to be doing, or trying to correct, or trying to guide. It's just loving them up, and I love that part of it.
Because that has to be a unique time of life where you've had little ones at your house. Because I'm in the middle of that. I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, and you're just giving them structure and, trying to do all those things. That would be a weird transition when they finally leave and go on their own.
Yeah, it's been really fun. And there's a time and a place for the guidance and that as well. But it's just fun to be able to see them grow up and start making, big decisions and reaching out to me, instead of me reaching out to them. I love that they reach out to me. That just makes my heart warm. So love that.
Let's go back to the beginning of you and Brian's story at Provo High School.
Okay.
Back in 1980?
88 was when we graduated.
88. How did you guys first meet?
Well, we actually met in junior high and went to high school together as well. When we were freshmen, we kind of liked each other a little bit, but we were too young to date.
Yeah.
So we didn't start dating till my senior year. And a guy that I had been dating went on a mission, or was going on a mission. He hadn't even left yet. But I would see Brian at school, and we'd hang out and talk a little bit. And one day I had a friend who said, Brian's telling people that when your boyfriend leaves, you're going to love him. And I was so mad. I was so bothered. So he came up to me the next day at school, and I'm standing at my locker, and he's acting like nothing, And so I slam my locker and walk into the girls' locker room, and he followed me right in.
Wow.
Yeah. So the locker room, to be fair, the locker room had my coach's office in it. And so you walk in and you walk into her office, and men walked in and out of that part of it. But he did follow me right in. Anyway, so he's like, what did I do? What did I do? And I said, you're telling everyone I'm going to love you when my boyfriend leaves. And he said, yeah. and I
Not wrong.
And I kind of loved his honesty because we were just friends. Like there was nothing, we were just friends. And I actually thought it was kind of cute, and I loved his honesty. So anyway, that was kind of the beginning of everything. I don't know.
In his mind, he was like, well, of course that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Has that confidence of his just carried on throughout your relationship?
It kind of has, yeah. Yeah. But I don't mind it.
Yeah. It's brought him this far, which is incredibly far. You and Brian both played basketball at Provo High School. You won a few state titles between the two of you, which is really fun. Then went on to play college at UVU back when it was UVSC. What was it like having that shared experience with each other, that love of basketball?
It was so fun because we did get each other's lives. And I loved watching him play, and he, I think, enjoyed watching me play. When we were at UVU, our teams traveled together. So the girls' team played first, and then the men's team played afterwards. And I just loved being there. I loved being able to see all of his games. And he was fun. He was really fun to watch. Just, his personality comes out on the court, and I loved it. So... And he's fiery on the court. He's a competitor. He's always like a softie with me, but when he's competing. So that was really fun to see.
Do you think your early basketball experience helped prepare you for the sports-centered life that you guys are living right now?
It really has. I've always loved sports, and I was kind of a tomboy of sorts when we called ourselves when we were growing up. I just loved playing outside, loved playing sports. I was always playing on the boys' baseball team or something, soccer or whatever. I just loved playing sports. So.
When did basketball specifically become something that you loved and knew that you wanted to continue doing?
When I was a freshman in high school, I decided I wasn't going to play basketball because I didn't want that image carrying into high school, like this sort of tomboy image carrying into high school. And so I wasn't going to play. And the basketball coach came to me and she said, hey, are you going to try out for basketball? And I said, no, I just really don't think I'm going to. I don't want that image. And she said, my athletes are students first, or I'm sorry, they're young ladies first, they're students second, and they're basketball players third. We wear dresses on game days. She just kind of sold me on it that I could be me, and I could shed that kind of, image that I was just this, kind of rough and tough, play sports kind of a girl, and I could just be me and I could play. And she held true to that. And that was when it started. And I ended up getting a scholarship to go to UVU afterwards. So it was really great because my family didn't have a lot of money to put me through college. I was the first one to go to college and graduate from college in my family of 6 kids. So it ended up being a real blessing in my life.
I'm curious, what about that image were you trying so hard to shake? Was it just, did you feel like that wasn't you anymore? Like, I'm not this tomboy, but everyone thinks that's who I am. What made you want to shake that? I
don't even know. I've never liked to be pigeonholed into any sort of a label.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be me. And so I've always done that in politics and anything that I've ever done. If people try to pigeonhole you into, you're this kind of person or you're this kind of person, I really don't allow those to stick. I just don't like that. So
I think that's really cool. You're like, you can't put a title or a name on me because you're who you are. You're unique. What did you learn from your playing days that you feel like still you carry with you today?
Just a toughness, I think, a resilience when we talk about toughness. But I think there's a resilience and there's an ability to learn without being offended. So someone can tell you hard things and you're just like, okay, I need to fix that. Like, I need to do that better. Instead of, oh, they said I'm not doing this well. I must not be good. I must not be good enough. There are 2 ways you can take it. And I feel like the way my coach coached in high school was she'd love you up, but she'd be hard on you too, but you knew it was because she cared about you, that she was hard on you. And there's a difference.
Yeah.
She was hard on you because she cared and she wanted you to be the best you could be. And I think that's just such a great life lesson. Sometimes things are hard. Sometimes your parents are hard on you, but it's because they love you and they want to see you succeed and they know you have to have a certain level of resilience. But my life experience built in that resilience as well. A lot of life experiences have built that. But basketball really continued to help me be mentally and just kind of mentally tough and give me confidence.
I think sports is I never really thought about that. I feel like there's so many life lessons you can learn from sports that you can't learn anywhere else. But I think that's a really good one, being able to take criticism, which a lot of people can't. You can take it one way or the other, but if you use it positively and not take offense, I think that's a really great thing you learn from sports. Your journey with Brian started in Provo and took you to California, where he played for Fresno State and where you practiced nursing. And you've said nursing was really just a backup career and you always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. What made being home with your kids such an important priority for you at that time?
So my mom worked 3 jobs. My parents were divorced when I was younger, and my mom worked 3 jobs. And my dad did support, financially, but my mom was gone a lot. And I wanted to be different with my kids. Your parents do the best they can do with what's available to them. And there were things that I saw that I just wanted to do differently, and I was able to do them differently. So I wanted to be there to see my kids say the cute things they were going to say and do the cute things and the stinker things they're going to do and say too. That's just all part of it. And I wanted to be there for that. And I wanted to be the one to nurture and to love them up and to try to guide them. I wanted to be the one to be able to do that. So luckily we were able to. After my first son was born, we were both working, and we did require some outside help, and that was really hard for me.
This is your son with autism?
Yeah, I had to send him to a babysitter. I got about 6 months. No, I'm sorry, I got 4 months of leave after I had him, because I had a lot of vacation time that I hadn't used, and I was able to use that plus my 3-month leave. And he had to go to a babysitter while I would sleep during the day, because I would work at night. Brian worked during the day. And I would just go pick him up early because I couldn't stand not having him with me. I'd try to just have him sleep with me in the chair or something. I just wanted him close. So I just wanted my kids close. I don't know. Yeah.
I felt that same way with my firstborn, where you have that really strong attachment to them. And you're like, I don't want anybody else watching them but me.
Yeah.
How do you feel like that time in California shaped you and Brian's relationship as well?
He has a really strong family, and they are tight-knit, and they do a lot together. And in fact, most of my dates were double dates with his brothers and their dates with Brian. Like they're fun. When they get together, it's just really fun. And I did worry a little bit at first that our relationship might get overshadowed by that. And so I was actually grateful to go somewhere where we built our friendships together. Like, we made friends together. Everything we did was together. And I think it was such an important time for us to build our relationship and to depend on each other and to just have each other's backs, to practice what we'd always talked about doing before we got married, that we're going to have each other's backs. We're going to, take care of each other and not let anything come between us, even our kids, which is really interesting that we actually said that before we were married, because having a child with autism, can sometimes be a little challenging on the family. But it really shaped us as a couple. And then when we ended up moving back 2 streets away from his parents, it's been nothing but just such a blessing, because his parents are like some of my favorite people ever. Like So.
But so awesome you had that time with just the 2 of you. When it's just the 2 of you to rely on each other and be each other's best friends and confidants. And I think that's an important thing for most relationships.
True.
That a lot of people don't get, though.
True. And we would go out and play basketball against the guys out in at the apartment complex and they didn't know that he played for Fresno State.
Are you serious?
And they didn't know that I knew a little bit about basketball. So that was kind of fun. We'd play basketball together or swim together or do things. We're just very active. So it was just really a fun time of life, too.
Did you ever picture the 2 of you being where you are now in the middle of the BYU athletics world? Was that something you guys talked about and dreamed of back then, or did it just come about organically?
No, 100%. We've dreamed about this. It's been a dream and a goal for many years, and Brian has literally put his, blood, sweat, and tears into it, over the years, just trying to make it be the best that it can be. And he has waited for this moment and wanted this to happen. He had a great relationship with Tom, and they were brothers. They just worked so well together and had, 20 incredible years with Tom, and had some of the best mentoring from Tom and from other presidents, past presidents, current president, and so many good people, former athletes. And it's something that he dreamed about hoping that he would get a chance someday to be able to do it his way too, and be able to put his mark on it and be able to build on what he and Tom and this athletic team, this whole athletic department has built, and be able to take it next level, hopefully. That's his dream and that's our dream. And we've talked about it over the years and just dreamed about what that would look like or feel like.
And now here you are.
Yeah, it's so fun.
It's come to fruition. That's got to be a little bit surreal.
It has. And to credit to Tom, it feels very normal because he and Brian work so hand in hand on things. There's really nothing, no surprises, nothing new. Brian just kind of stepped in and just kept,
kind of doing
took
what
the
he was
baton
doing.
and kept going. Yeah. So it's been very comfortable. Brian has had lots of difficult conversations over the years. So people were like, oh no, he gets in and then hard things happen. Well, hard things have happened over the years. He's been there, done that. And we just, he's all about loving people up and helping them do the best they can do. And,
Yeah. I feel like when I think of Brian, I think of kind of a competitive go-getter, even in the athletic director world. That's kind of what he portrays. When you think about him in his playing days, because you mentioned you loved to watch him and that he was fiery, what was he like on the court?
He was funny. He was funny and fiery. He liked to have a little bit of fun. One time at one of the games, there was the other team shooting free throws, and he walked to the free throw line.
Oh my gosh.
And the referee handed him the ball, and he acted like he was going to shoot it, and then he handed it back to the referee and kind of chuckled, and they gave him a T. But he'd like to have fun with it sometimes, just kind of, he was funny and fun, but he was fiery. When he steps on the court, it doesn't matter the skill level, doesn't matter the opponent, doesn't matter. And he just expects to win. He plans to win. And it's kind of crazy how often he does win because he just plans on it. He just believes and he plans on it. And it's just been his mo, forever, for as long as I've known him.
It's crazy how far that mentality can take you.
True.
Just that belief
just
in
believing.
yourself. Yep.
So true.
So what about you? Were you fiery on the court? Or what were you like in your playing days?
No, I was actually kind of shy, a little more shy in high school. I was your sturdy, steady player. Never like the star of the show, but I played really good defense. I had a great 10-foot jumper. We didn't really have the 3-point line when I was. It came into being, I think, my senior year, I want to say. And some of my teammates were already shooting from that spot, but not me. I was just happy with my 10-foot jumper.
Yeah.
I was just like, it does me well. I'm just going to do that. But my coach was really great. She would challenge me on certain things. Hey, if you do this next year, like when I was a freshman, she said, when you do this next year, you'll have a starting spot. And I did this, and she put me in as a starter as my sophomore year. We took state that year. My junior year, my senior year, we lost to a team that ended up taking it. But we had really, really good teams. But I was just steady, I would say. I wasn't like, showy or just steady.
Which every team needs that, some steadiness and consistency, and then you got your crazy Bryans, right, on the perimeter there.
Well, he was just the exciting one to watch. Like, he was shooting from the half court, and making them. Coaches be like, "No, yes," they'd start clapping because they're like, "No, don't shoot from there." "Oh, yes, you do."
Please do, actually, if you're going to keep making those.
So he was just exciting. He did some exciting things. So
we know you're still tough because once a council member that you worked with in Provo once nicknamed you the Iron Lady, because of how firm you can be. How do you think you and Brian's personalities have complemented each other throughout the years?
Yeah, first of all, I thought Margaret Thatcher was the only one that was deserving of that name. But I was very strong in what I believed. I was very strong in defending the family and defending our religious liberties. And if there were pressures that came from certain factions or pressures that came from even other elected officials or groups, if I felt strongly about something, none of that mattered. I was going to vote my conscience no matter. And I think that's why I got that term Iron Lady. I wasn't afraid to talk to a room full of legislators. I wasn't afraid to talk to the C-suite of, certain organizations or go toe-to-toe with our administration or anybody. I wasn't afraid to defend what I thought was worth defending. And I think that's where I got that. I tried to work well with others, but when I felt strongly about something, I just stuck to it regardless of the pressures that were placed.
Well, now looking back on all those decisions that you had to make and that mentality that you had, how do you feel like that's shaped you to become who you are?
I feel like it's bolstered my confidence, but it's also bolstered my faith. I just know at the end of the day who I'm going to be kneeling before, and if I can kneel in front of my Maker and feel like I did the best I could do that day, not going to be perfect, but if I did the best I could do that day, then I'm good with that. And obviously there are things that I'm going to have to ask forgiveness for, and then, that's part of it.
Yep.
But I try really hard to make decisions so that at the end of the day I can feel confident.
With Brian's high demanding job, is that something, because you're so skilled and knowledgeable, is that something you help him with, or do you try to separate kind of work and home life when it comes to what he does?
I try to make his life as easy at home as possible so he can focus on what he needs to focus on at work. Because he's been overextended for way too long. And so I just feel like anything I can do to make things easier, lighter, better for him when he's home, then that's kind of what I try to do.
Gosh, that's a good wife.
Well,
That's a good wife right there.
and he's the same with me.
Yeah.
I mean, we've always, as fiery as he comes across in competition, he's that soft-hearted with me. In fact, a friend of ours said, being around Brian makes me want to treat my wife better. And this guy, anyone who knew him would say he treats his wife well, but being around Brian made him want to treat her better. And that is maybe the highest compliment someone could pay. Brian, he's but he's that way with me. He's soft, he's kind, tells me every day that he loves me. Have I told you today yet that I love you? And not just a little bit, a lot bit, I mean, he just, he's always very kind and makes it easy for me to want to help him, to want to make his life easy too.
You've been around these athletes now for a long, long time that Brian's worked with, and you being an athlete yourself, have you been able to develop relationships with some of these athletes that Brian's been able to work with?
Yeah, for sure. We love them. And we have dinner at 5 on Sundays at our house, and anybody's welcome. Now that I'm broadcasting that, we might not have enough space. Uh-oh. But they know that. There's open pantry at our house, and we have we have a few athletes that come pretty regularly, and over the years, we've had men's basketball, women's basketball. This year we had 2 softball players and 1 soccer player. And these girls, they come to our home and they bless our home. Mm-hmm. So I love having them come. And I get to know them a lot better when you can sit around the kitchen table and just chat and get to know them and kind of, find out about their lives. And that's the best part about it. And that's where Brian is really good. He's really good on the individual level, letting athletes know that he cares, that he wants to see them fly. He no more ambition than just to see these athletes get everything they need so that they can fly and they can tell their story on a broader stage. That's what we're about, is helping our athletes be able to tell our story and share the gospel to the world through their experiences here.
Yeah, one of the unique and beautiful things about BYU.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Kim Santiago. This is Her Why. What's up, guys? This is Lauren McLean from Her Why and Royal Legacy. If you like my podcast, make sure you check out Big Stories, hosted by Cleon Wall. There are around 50 different tales told over 2 seasons. You'll feel elevated and encouraged by the Big Stories podcast. Find it wherever you get podcasts or on the BYU Radio app. Welcome back to Her Why. I'm Lauren McLean, here with Kim Santiago, wife of BYU's new athletic director, Brian Santiago. So, Kim, what's something you've learned about BYU athletics from your current vantage point now that you guys are at the helm of the athletic department? But you did mention that really not much has changed.
No, it really hasn't. Like I said, he's been in a role where he really knew the workings of the athletic department. And so the only thing that's changed is just the busyness. He was way, way busier. Now he has a team in place, and I can kind of see some of the responsibilities lifting and things getting a little bit lighter, which is really nice.
He can delegate a little more.
Yes.
which is so nice. What's
Yes.
something about Brian's job that you feel like a lot of people might not understand from the outside?
It looks so fun. Like they see him at the games, they see him down there just enjoying like front row, front field, you know, position and cheering on and celebrating with the teams. But what they don't see is him coming home for dinner at 8 o'clock and doing emails till 11 at night and walking the dog with me at midnight so that we can catch up.
Yeah.
And then, whoa.
You're good.
And then doing like 2 more hours of emails, just trying to catch up on stuff. Just the hours that he puts in, the work that he puts in. I don't think anyone really understands and what he has put in for 20 years. I don't think anyone really understands the work that goes into it. They just see the fun stuff and they're like, he has the best job ever. And I'm like, well, if you want to come home at 5, you probably not. You have to consider that his job is all day, every day. And it never stops. Like people always have contact with him and he loves to respond to people. He wants to respond to people. But we'll go to the temple for 2 hours and come out and he'll have 150 texts.
Oh my gosh.
And that was before he got this job. So I don't even know, like right now, I don't even ask because I don't even want to know. I just know that he's busy answering. But that's why he needs people. Yeah. That's why he needs a team. Like he can't be caught up in the thick of things where he needs to be more at a level where he can manage the things that he needs to manage and have someone else manage some of the other things that he's typically done himself. So he
needs another Brian for Tom Homo. You know, he needs one of himself for him.
I told him when he was applying, and not applying, they didn't really apply, but when he was in this interview process, I told him, who's going to be your B? Like, who's going to be, that's the most important thing is you got to find someone. And he said, it'll probably have to be a couple, probably have to hire a couple people to do, 2 or 3 maybe. So,
incredible.
Or at least elevate some. And he's done that. He's delegated out his responsibilities, and he's also putting a team in place that's going to be really great. So, and is really great so far, already lifting his burden. So it's really nice. But
not all fun and games, but do you enjoy being able to have that access a little bit? Especially, I mean, Brian's starting this new role in this just unprecedented times for BYU athletics. That's got to be kind of fun for you and your family too, to be able to be involved in that.
Yes, it's so fun. Our whole family, we love the games. We love BYU. We love the athletes. We love being part of it. It's in our blood.
Yeah.
My kids know nothing more than I used to bring them to all the games, even when they were really little. And my son has sensory issues, and he's whacked me before. It's just like because it wasn't fun for him to have all the noise, But he adjusted, and now he loves it. He won't miss a game either. So it's really fun.
You once said in one of the articles I read, do it, try it, see if you like it. Don't be afraid to try something new and different. Where did that mindset come from? And is that something you kind of push Brian and your kids to follow as well?
Yes, I didn't see myself as a political person at all. Didn't really even know exactly what the city did. The city, all the city services. I didn't know all of it when I was kind of sort of pushed into running for this. Not pushed, but coaxed into running. And so I had to do a lot of figuring out. I met with every department head. I walked every area of their, different departments and really tried to learn everything that the city does, everything and all of the people involved, the ones that I could meet, and really tried to educate myself on it. And was, I think, kind of a quick study. I feel like I figured it out, but I figured it out because of the people I surrounded myself with. I created a Politics Anonymous group, I call them. There are 5 ladies. One's a very successful businesswoman, one's a pediatrician, one is worked on the Landmarks Committee, another one was a council member for 12 years, another one served on the council with me for a year. And they were my go-to group. When I needed information, when I needed help with something, I would throw it out to that group. And they became my mentors. And so I feel like they really helped me figure it out. So that's why I say don't be afraid to try something new. I didn't know anything about this. I feel like I was a pretty effective council member, but I was effective because I dug in, learned, figured it out, and mostly just surrounded myself with people, good people who I knew I could trust, who could help me kind of navigate it.
Yeah.
So, and I'm grateful that I did. It's given me another layer of resilience, right? It's different things in your life that helps you grow your faith, helps you become more resilient, helps you have a broader view of people and what they're struggling with and how you can help. And that was fun. Problem solving and doing things to try to help people was really, really fun to me.
I like that example too of having the humility of you're not just diving into something new and like, I'm going to do this by myself, but surrounding yourself with people that you maybe have been there and have all this experience to help you on your way. And that takes some humility. I think that's amazing. When you first started on the Provo City Council, you were the only woman in that group. What was that experience like?
I'm very comfortable with people in general. So I feel like I was pretty comfortable. And they were respectful, and I don't think it was really an issue. I do think that in some ways, the good old boys club does exist in business and in government as well. So I did run across that sometimes. But in general, especially the council members that I worked with were really good just to see me as a fellow council member, which I really appreciated.
You mentioned that you were coaxed into running for this. What inspired you to pursue that in the first place?
Well, I was the PTA president at Wasatch, and they were putting in the UVX line. And some of the things that they were trying to do didn't make a lot of sense for that area, for 9th East. Didn't make a lot of sense the way they were planning it. And didn't seem to want to really listen. They're like, we're so far down the road with this. UTA was so far down the road with it that they weren't really, they're kind of patting us on the head and just, like step aside. Kind of, that's how we felt. Whether they were meant to do that or not, that's kind of how we felt. And so we started meeting with the mayor. We were meeting with council members and just trying to get them to listen to us about why are we doing this and maybe we could do it a little differently and trying to offer ideas, but like I said, they were so far down the road, they weren't really too interested in listening. And then one time the mayor said, well, which one of you, my friend and the one that's a pediatrician, she and I were talking to him. He said, which one of you are going to run for city council? Because our seat was opening up. And we laughed. We're like, oh, yeah, right. Neither one of us are interested at all. But then started had a state legislator and some other people that I knew and a friend who's involved with politics. She said, you need to do this. And I was like, oh, no, that's really not my thing. It's not my gig, But then the more they talked, I said, why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I have a vote? Instead of petitioning the council, be one of them and have a vote on this. And so I thought, okay, I'll do it. So I did it. It was, yeah.
Man, and no regrets. 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Which is a decent chunk of your life when you're.
And it was a little crazy time for our family. My husband was bishop. I mean, it was hard. It was hard time-wise, really hard. Because when I do something, I go all in for it. And I feel like my family suffered a little bit because of it. And so in the end, I was just like, yeah, I can't run again. I really need to be here. I can't miss out on this time with my family. Yeah. I've only got them for this little bit of time, and I want to be here for them. So I didn't run again. And I didn't think it was going to take as much time as it did. It's supposed to be, part-time or less. And because we had hot button issues, it was way more than a full-time job. So it was crazier during those years than I think it normally is. But
now that your kids are gone, is it something you'd ever consider pursuing again?
I would have to be hit over the head with it to do it again. I really would, because life is really good outside of politics.
I'm great.
Yeah. I mean, I do miss helping people solve problems, but I don't miss the political wrangling. I don't miss that at all.
Oh, I can't even imagine. Do you feel like serving on the city council has helped you in any way in being an AD's wife and watching what Brian does?
There are politics in every organization, and it's just a different, same set of issues sometimes, but just different, scenario. So I do think that it's been helpful over time to be able to talk through some of those things. And we do. I mean, our walks around the neighborhood, we
airing it all out.
We do have some at our home, we talk sports, politics, and religion, and we talk about it all. So it's
the most hot button topics you could ask for.
Yeah.
Looking back at all the different seasons of your life, athlete, nurse, city council member, wife, mom, what are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of the the fact that I have never wavered in my testimony. My 5 siblings and my parents are no longer members of the church, and I love each of them dearly, and, they've chosen their path, right? But I've never wavered, and I feel like that has blessed my life incredibly. And I married someone who is the same. I always say he wears his religion on his sleeve, but not in a weird way. He's it's just part of his being, part of who he is. And I feel like we match up so well in that, in our goals and ambitions in life, and our love for our kids and our family and our love for people in general. And I think I'm most proud that I've just stayed true to that, and that I married someone who makes it so easy to continue to stay true to that.
Something that's so important. What do you feel like is one thing you still want to try and accomplish in this next season of your life?
That's
You're like, I don't know, life's really great.
So many. Grandmotherhood.
Yeah, might be the next one.
That will be a great gig someday. I love babies. I like, give me a baby. I'm a baby whisperer. And so that would be like something I definitely want to experience in my future. You just want to see your family grow and like figure life out and stay in, that's the biggest goal for me, is that my kids just stay all in for the Lord, just stay in. So, and that we're all right. Just, that's my maybe biggest goal.
I like that. You have your 4 kids, and then you got lots of other kids in the athletic department that you're probably worried about as well.
Yeah.
If you could give one piece of advice to young women, whether they're athletes, students, or just figuring out the next step of their life, what do you feel like it would be?
Just remember who you are. You're a daughter of God. Just remember that. And like every night when you kneel down, just make sure that you're kneeling down and you're proud of the decisions you made for that day. And if you're not, fix it. And don't let the gift of the atonement go unnoticed or unappreciated. Like, make that a beautiful part of your life. We just talked about DNC 88 in church yesterday. And I just love that if you knock at the door, it'll be open unto you. And use the atonement, use that gift. And the Lord is just waiting to just pour out gifts upon you, right? And our Heavenly Father is just waiting to add light, add knowledge, add goodness to your life. If we'll just stay humble, just keep trying, keep making decisions that, like my husband, when he was a bishop, he'd tell the kids, he'd say, good choices equal, and they'd respond, happiness. And he got that from Gifford Nielsen. But that's been the mantra. It's like, good choices equal happiness. Just make good choices. And no matter what pressures are on you, no matter what the world is telling you, stay true to who you are, make good choices. If you make a mistake, fix it and move on, just so you can find that peace and joy in your life. Because when you do that, you can look outward. You're no longer like kind of racked with torment of what you've done or trying to pretend it doesn't matter or whatever those feelings are, but you feel confident and peaceful and you can look out and serve. And that's what is going to bless your life more than anything.
Kim, I bet you and Brian are such a light to BYU. I think it's incredible you're in this position. Looking ahead to this next year at BYU, what are you most excited for, either personally or as Brian enters his first fall season at BYU as athletic director?
I'm just excited for these athletes they've been given a lot and they're putting out a lot. As far as the daily, the workouts, the diet, the sleep, all the things they're trying to do to be really, really good. And just looking forward to them being able to showcase what they've worked so hard for throughout their lives. That's just so fun to see them showcase that, and just praying they can stay healthy so that they can do that. I mean, that's the one thing, right? Every end of year banquet, they talk about the adversity they went through and the injuries and how they, the really sweet thing is the accomplishments didn't matter as much as how they came to know the Lord. And that's what it's all about. But at the same time, we want them to stay healthy and we want to see them perform at the highest level so that people can hear their stories. Because if we're not relevant, nobody cares. But when we're doing well, people care. They want to hear our stories. So,
well, I can't wait to see what this next phase of life brings for you and Brian. I'm here with Kim Santiago, former UVSC basketball player, former Provo City councilwoman, nurse, mother of 4, and wife of Brian Santiago. Kim, thank you so much for taking the time with me today.
You're welcome. Thank you. It's been a delight.
Thanks to Annie Robinson and Christy Solomon for producing this episode with senior producer Cleon Wall. Her Why is a production of BYU Radio.